From Silvercross Field in Joliet, it's Class 3A baseball semifinal game number 2, matching the Kaneland Knights and the Waterloo Bulldogs. And hi again, everybody. I'm Dave Bernhardt, joined up in the booth by state championship coach and Hall of Famer Mark Lindo. Sophia Minert is down on the field. Well, these two teams come in, one from the northern part of the state, one from the south. A long time coming for each of them. For Waterloo, last time they were here in the state finals, 1988. But how about Kaneland? They had never won a baseball regional prior to this season, yet here they are, both playing for the chance to play against Oak Forest for the Class 3A championship tomorrow.
Two upstart teams that taking a solid advantage of the four-class system, no doubt about that. Kaneland has just caught lightning in a bottle throughout the playoffs. Waterloo's had an incredibly strong season, only 3 losses, 2 of them by 1 run. 2 excellent baseball teams looking to advance to the title game here in semifinal number 2.
Kaneland at 24-10 will bat first. This is how they will go. Kyle Davidson to lead things off at short. Corey Landers will be the left fielder batting second. Joe Camilleri in center field in the third spot. Batting cleanup will be today's pitcher, Bobby Thorson. Sam Kamel, the first baseman, hits fifth. Third baseman, Drew French, bats in the sixth spot. Hitting seventh, Jake Razzo, the right fielder. Brian Dixon at second base hits eighth. And the catcher, Ty Heinley, will bat ninth under head coach Brian Aversa. Brian Aversa in his 9th year total, 5th year at Kaneland, 107 victories at Kaneland High School, 24 of them coming this year. Defensively for Waterloo, Nick Steppick is in left, Aaron Aycock in center, Gabe Hopkins in right. Brian Schaub is the third baseman, Brad Dillenberger at short, second baseman's Alex Wittenauer, Garrett Schlecht over at first base. Behind the plate is Lucas Wetzler, and on the mound is A.J. Crutchfield for the Bulldogs.
Crutchfield, a lefty, he's 9-1 with a 1.11 earned run average, 46 punch-outs, only 7 walks in 63 innings pitched. He's a good one, and here to call the second semifinal of the afternoon is Hall of Fame voice of the IHSA, Dave Bernhardt.
Thank you very much, Mark. We get things started with A.J. Crutchfield, the lefty, delivering, and yanking it just foul is Kyle Davidson, the 5'11" senior, a .319 batting average on the season. He has 16 runs batted in, 7 doubles and 3 triples. Outfield playing Davidson straight away. A.J. Crutchfield, the lefty for Waterloo, his best pitch. It's a best pitch you really don't hear many pitchers talk about in high school. It's his changeup.
Second best pitch in baseball. Fastball, no doubt, is what everyone feeds off of. Most high school players then go to a breaking ball, but the second best pitch in baseball, if you have command, is indeed the straight change.
It's a pitch that his coach Mark Vogel says when he gets it over, it's a devastating pitch.
Good changeup, should be about 8 to 10 miles an hour off the fastball. There was one at about 73 miles per hour.
Here's the 2-2 pitch to Davidson. First batter of the game goes down swinging.
And that fastball came about 79, so you get a batter looking slow, then you go quick, or you get him looking quick, and then you go slow. Disrupting timing, that's how you get first out strikeouts.
Corey Landers, senior left fielder, a .269 batting average, hitting out of the number 2 hole for Kaneland. You know, both these teams last year, you talk about how far you come in a year. Last year, it was Kaneland losing in a regional quarterfinal. That means that was the first game they played. Same with Waterloo, losing in the first game of the regional last year, yet here they are playing for a chance to get into the state championship game tomorrow.
Kaneland with 24 wins, only had 23 the prior 2 years combined.
Slow right side, Schlecht to Crutchfield covering for the second out.
Good adjustment by Crutchfield as he chased that ball down himself. Slowly hit, chopped in front of the plate. Crutchfield got over to hurry. He was going to chase it down. And then the nonverbal communication between Schlecht and Crutchfield worked out well. The 3-1 put out.
So Crutchfield with 2 outs. He'll face left-handed hitting Joe Camilleri. 5'11" senior, a .318 batting average. You know, these teams also, in terms of getting to this point, how about 1-run games? In the regional championship game, Waterloo defeated Mater Dei 3-2, and then early on in the regional championship game for Kaneland, a 2-1 win over Sycamore. So your margin of error not very great in either of those, and yet you keep on winning. Big win for Waterloo, 1-0 over the defending 3A champs Glenwood. That was in the super sectional. Inside pitch makes it 3-0.
Camelier, pretty chiseled football quarterback. Had a diving running catch that saved a couple runs in their super sectional win. They played very good defense in that win.
Taking all the way on 3-0. Sun trying to peek its way out here in Joliet. 3-1 becomes 3-2. Weather could be an issue at times today. They are thinking that we could be checking the skies mid-afternoon.
Bite your tongue.
Just saying the facts. 3 balls and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Camilleri, he's jammed. Schaub from third. It's a 1-2-3 inning for A.J. Crutchfield. Very quiet with the bats was Kaneland. It will be Waterloo's turn when we come to the bottom of the first inning, your 3A semifinal on IHSA.TV. Waterloo Bulldogs from south of St. Louis, 32 wins, just 3 losses. Here's their lineup. Aaron Aycock leading things off in center field. The shortstop, Brad Dillenberger, bats second. 9th round draft choice of the Chicago Cubs, Garrett Schlecht, at first base, and he will bat third. Lucas Wetzler's the catcher in a cleanup spot. Batting fifth will be the right fielder, Gabe Hopkins. Left fielder, Nick Steppig, hits 6th. Batting 7th will be Alex Wittenauer, the second baseman for the Bulldogs. Designated hitter, Eli Snodgrass, batting 8th, and he is batting for the pitcher, A.J. Crutchfield. And then the man who made the last play of that top half of this inning, Brian Schaub, the third baseman, he will bat 9th. And defensively, for the Kaneland Knights, Corey Landers in left, Joe Camilleri is the center fielder, Jake Razzo in right. Third baseman is Drew French, Cal Davidson's at short. Second baseman is Brian Dixon. At first, it's Sam Kamel. Behind the plate, Ty Heinley, and Mr. Do-Everything for the Knights, Bobby Thorson on the mound.
Bobby Thorson pitching on a full 5 days rest, so he's raring and ready to go. He's 6-3 on the season. A very fine earned run average of 0.71. 62 2/3 innings pitched. He's punched out 71, walking just 16. Impressive numbers for a guy who always wants the ball for the Kaneland Knights.
He won the sectional championship over Marmion in that ball game. Also had a 3-run homer. Leading it off for Waterloo will be Aaron Aycock. First pitch swinging, looking for the line, and he has it. Aycock around first, headed to second. He will pull up there, one pitch, and it's a double for Aaron Aycock.
First ball, fastball, looking for it, got it, smoked it down the right field line. Aycock, nice job going with that pitch, the outer part. And a long way to run was Jake Razzo, who does a nice job cutting it off. You see him coming to your screen, but too far down the line. An easy stand-up leadoff. Get him going kind of double by Aaron Aycock.
A good point on Razzo's play. That play right there saved another base. That would have been an easy triple for Aycock. This is Brad Dillenberger stepping in. Dillenberger, the shortstop for Waterloo. Big gap in left center field. Thorson's pitch is high to start out Aycock. Or to start out Dillenberger, with Aycock taking the lead at second base. Couple of Dillenbergers on this team. Brad, along with DJ, they're cousins. Brad, a .360 hitter. Two and 0.
See him adjusting the batting gloves. Nice picture there of Coach Vogel.
Mark Vogel, a graduate of Waterloo High School. Thorson will get a strike there. Vogel went to Kaskaskia College, then on to Northern Iowa. Most valuable player his senior year at Waterloo. 2-year starter at each of his 2 colleges, Kaskaskia and Northern Iowa.
Coach Vogel played for Hall of Fame coach Lon Fulte, a member of his staff, and we'll have more about that from Sophia later on. Nice little storyline when you have hometown people staying around, giving back to the community.
Well, Vogel gives in many different ways. Also coaches the junior high school team. Wide of the bag at first base. Count now 3-2.
Very unselfish 2-hole hitter. Brad Dillenberger, fastball, tried to move the run along, going to the right side. Trying to get Aycock to third base with less than 2 outs. Aycock right now holding his bag. He'll get a lead off after he checks the outfield and knows how far he can advance. If it's a hard base hit, if it's a flare, those kind of things. You get on base, you always know where your outfield's at.
3-2 pitch. To fight that one off. Well, the outfield here is fairly deep. The left fielder, Corey Landers, shaded towards the line somewhat, while the center fielder, Joe Camilleri, shaded a little bit to right center. That opens up a wide hole in left center. You can take a look there. You see Camilleri in the middle of your screen. We still haven't seen the left fielder, Landers. That's how far apart those guys are.
Gaping hole left center field.
Straight up. Davidson will make the call and the catch. One gone here in the bottom of the first inning.
So Thorson, good job keeping the ball in where Dillenberger could not hit the ball to the right side. Easy catch by Kyle Davis for the first out, but you know what? Kind of a tough sky right now because, you know, it's gray and not real good vision for a ball up in the air.
Only have a couple of draft picks in this year's state tournament. This is one of them. He is the 9th round pick of the Chicago Cubs. It's Garrett Schlecht. Schlecht, first baseman today, also does a little bit of pitching. He's already signed with Middle Tennessee State. He'll take the first pitch outside. And of course, the draft was just held earlier this week, and when Schlecht was drafted, he was actually taking his English final exam. And of course, after that, got done with the exam, found out been drafted. Everybody celebrates. He had to recharge his cell phone because of all the congratulatory messages and texts. Very happy young man. And why wouldn't you be? 9th round pick.
6'2", 185, and he just looks hitterish is what I call that. The way he carries himself, nice quiet hands, open. He works from the open stance.
1 ball, 1 strike, waited on a high curveball. This is out of play. In amongst all the orange, big crowd from Waterloo that's come up for this game. It's a community that really supports their baseball. They love their high school baseball in Waterloo, and they've come to Joliet. It's a long trip up here.
A lot of orange.
They were making a lot of noise in the pregame introductions.
32-3, a dream season.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Schlecht. Looked like he may have been looking for a breaking ball. Is able to fight off the fastball.
He's got great hands because he's able to, when he gets his front foot up and down, as quiet as you can put your front foot up and down, the better off you are. But when you put your front foot up and down to keep your hands back until the last possible moment, it makes you so much more of an effective hitter.
A block behind the plate by Heinle. Good job there. That will keep Aycock at second base. He stands there with 1 out.
Heinle, good throwing catcher. Threw 2 runners out in the super sectional, picked 1 off, and threw 1 out trying to steal.
That was during an 8-3 win over Peoria Notre Dame. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And we'll stay at 2-2.
Again, we talk about Schlecht, and any great hitter. He's fouled off 2 pretty good pitches from Thorson. One was on the outer edge. That one was down on his hands. And ultimately, you would think that a great hitter will get a mistake from a pitcher at some point. And those are when you get mistakes, great hitters go ahead and hit them.
So Heinle going through a lot of signs that Thorson didn't really care for. So we'll reset here with 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. And Aycock on second base. Got there by way of that leadoff double.
Thorson with a base hit, but does not have to get him to give him a Schlecht.
So far, he has not. 3 balls, 2 strikes. And this, of course, was in the pregame scouting report, is how do you want to pitch this guy?
Well, and there's certain people in every lineup when you have a report that he's not going to beat us. And with a base open right now, you can choose to stay away from Schlecht, but you got a good one on Wetzler in the hole.
Just miss inside. That will send Schlecht down to first base with the 1-out walk. Runners at first and second for Lucas Wetzler, the catcher for Waterloo.
That was proverbial pitch around a guy right there. And Schlecht, like a great hitter, did not get himself out. Fish weren't biting on the 2-2 or 3-2 pitch.
Wetzler, a .416 batting average, 45 runs batted in. That leads the club, as does his 17 doubles. Now, you look at the doubles numbers for players, and I always look at that one as a benchmark for what a player can do and what type of hitter he is. And they are playing him straight away, fairly deep. Bobby Thorson on the mound. Can't find a breaking ball quite yet. As Mark said, Thorson last pitched 5 days ago, and that's somewhat of a luxury for teams when you get down to the state finals time to have that much rest between starts.
Absolutely, so he should be strong.
To the left side, slowly hit. Davidson gets one. The attempt for two. Got him! Oh, they got him. Nice turn by Dixon. I didn't know that he'd have a chance as slowly it was hit, and is how Davidson had to give him the feed, but he got it over to Kamel for the inning double play.
That ball wasn't hit hard enough. It didn't have double play written on it. Shortstop Davidson goes down, and what a solid turn with the runner charging down him. Garrett Schlecht turn by Brian Dixon, and an outstanding double play to end the inning and quench the Waterloo threat.
So the Bulldogs get a double and a walk, yet they get nothing on the scoreboard. Through one here in your Class 3A semifinals. Kaneland Waterloo, no score. Solid first inning of play for both these two teams, and we've played a game plus another inning. Mark, of course, Oak Forest in a championship game with a 3-1 win over Nazareth. But the one thing that I have not seen any jitters. There seems everybody just playing solid baseball.
Well, there's no doubt that these teams have already been through regional, sectional, super sectional excitement, if you will, and there's no doubt that both these teams belong here. They're battle tested throughout the tournament, and a young man and Bobby Thorson here that has had a great tournament run offensively as well.
Bobby Thorson at the plate. We've talked about some of his pitching numbers. 406 batting average, 48 runs batted in the tournament. Thorson had a 3-run homer in the top of the 7th inning to beat Marion 7-4, and was a winning pitcher and got a 3-run homer in the sectional championship. Lined off the glove of Brad Dillenberger and into left field.
Tough chance for Dillenberger there. It seemed like a play he could have made. I won't say should have, but if you look the replay right here, he just mistimes his jump a little bit. It's a ball that he did not have a good read off the bat, and that will go as an error.
Thorson hitting the ball hard. We mentioned he had a 3-run homer in the sectional championship. In the super sectional, he had 3 RBIs and scored a couple of runs. So when he gets on, things happen.
Thorson with 8 home runs, 7 of them have gone to right field. He's only pulled 1 of his 8 home runs, and that was a grand slammer earlier on.
Number 5 hitter Sam Kamel will come to the plate. Ray Berry running at first base, a courtesy runner for Bobby Thorson. Crutchfield, the lefty, on the mound. He's able to stare right into the eyes of Berry over at first base.
Berry, a courtesy runner, high school rule, and he has to allow his team a look at the left-handed move, left leg move of A.J. Crutchfield.
Gets away from Wetzler on the wild pitch. Will send Berry on to second base. So he doesn't give his teammates a chance to see the left-handed move, but they'll take it. He moves up 90 feet and in scoring position.
So often young pitchers will try to vary their move, and when they try to vary their move with their front leg or lead leg, their arm angle changes, and thus a wild pitch occurs, as we just saw.
Sam Kamel, 386 batting average, 32 runs batted in, 6 doubles, 3 triples, 2 home runs. Missed a chunk of the season with a shoulder injury, had a major impact at that point on Kaneland's team. Big cut by Kamel. In fact, Kamel was hurt before the Sycamore series. Kaneland lost 2 out of 3 that series. They lost the weekend as well. They lost 2 out of 3 to Morris. In effect, when Kamel was out, they lost 6 out of 7 games, 6 of their 10 losses on the season. When he came back, well, they haven't lost since. Lined onto the concourse here at Silver Cross Field, the home of the Frontier League Joliet Slammers.
Both of these teams, 2010 season, early eliminations. Kaneland was eliminated by Hampshire in the regional quarterfinal, and Waterloo lost in the semifinal.
Shortstop, Dillenberger will have to hurry. Didn't get him. Holding at second base was Berry on the infield single by Kamel. You could see that was going to be trouble all the way. The only chance they really had was if the third baseman Schaub had been able to cut this one off.
It was a ball that was down and in. Kamel dropped the head of the bat. Charging was Dillenberger. His third baseman Schaub cut right across from him. maybe impeded, if you will, the sight lines of Garrett Schlecht, who wasn't able to pick that out of the dirt. We would have had a bang-bang play anyway, as Drew French is up with bunt in order.
First and second, nobody out. Schlecht, first baseman, playing in tight. Schaub at third, just a step in front of the bag. French shows bunt. Gets it down, but that ball is dead. And we'll do it again.
Now we see Schlecht coming hard. He's going to be inside at first base, the cutout of where the dirt and grass meet. Third baseman Schaub staying back. So an awful lot of pressure on him, but French bunts the ball hard. You see Schaub at third base toward the grass. A.J. Crutchfield, the left-hander, will fall off to that side of the mound. It's his position to field there. But if he bunts it hard at Schaub, he can get himself a base hit and advance the runners.
Pick off at second base, so was checked in that tight. It was somewhat of a distraction to set up that pickoff play at second base with Wittenauer cutting behind Barry.
Set play there with Crutchfield using what we call the leg move, the high leg and the spin that way rather than the hop pivot where you spin 180 degrees.
Nobody covering. That's okay. Ray Barry gets his uniform dirty. Once again, dirties it up a little more than the previous play. He's the courtesy runner for Bobby Thorson. Did not show bunt. So now Brian Aversa at third base. Wheels are turning in his head as to what he wants to do with Drew French at the plate. Jake Razzo is on deck.
Well, you think if you're bunting on 0-0, you're bunting on 0-1, but sometimes it's just that feel, that coach's instinct. And right now, he's not going by the book. He's just going with a coach's feel.
Into the air. Wetzler, the catcher, and that's not an at-bat that Drew French is going to enjoy.
Yeah, that was interesting strategy because you bunted, then you didn't bunt, and then you bunted again. So, you know, a change of heart, change of mind by Coach Aversa, but lack of execution as Drew French got the barrel of the bat underneath the baseball and thus the pop-up.
Both runners, of course, stay where they are at first and second with one out. We go to Jake Razzo, the right fielder. Razzo takes out sidewards. Number 88 on the back of his jersey. You just don't see that much in baseball, and I have a feeling Sophia Minard has a little secret to let us in on.
Yes, guys, I was able to track down Jake's mom, Brenda, to get the story on why he wears number 88. And it turns out as a freshman and as a sophomore, he wore number 8, but coming up to varsity as a junior, well, head coach Brian Aversa wears number 8. So they ran into a little sticky situation. So to keep both coach happy and player happy, they special ordered the double 8 for Jake Razzo. So he will wear the double 8 this year and the following year as a senior.
Oh, that is gold right there, Sophia. And he hits this one hard to right center field. Aycock will make the catch over his left shoulder, and both runners will retreat. Well, I have never heard a player do that, but now that I hear that, that makes all the sense in the world.
Absolutely, and what great sideline insight Sophia brought us right there. Number 88, a very atypical number for a baseball uniform, but we have the reason why.
That's a good one. Well, here we are. First two men, first and second base, and A.J. Crutchfield has gotten a pop out and a bunt and a fly out to center, and that leaves it up to Brian Dixon. Dixon will take that one inside. Dixon, the second baseman, only a .215 batting average on the season, 20 hits and 93 at-bats.
Great turn on the double play in the previous half inning, though, on the 6-4-3. Good middle turn by Dixon.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. When you see somebody with a .215 batting average, which in high school is low, I mean, nobody's hiding anything there, but then you see 93 at-bats. That means you keep going out there every single day because you are contributing to this team, and as you said, we saw it there in that double play.
Great teams have great defense up the middle, and Dixon adds to that, stabilizing the second base position for the Kaneland Knights.
Now he's one pitch away from being walked. Ty Heinley awaits on deck. Bottom of the order has not picked up many hits. Heinley just a 167 hitter on the season with only 8 hits. He's swinging 3-0. Or check that, swinging 2-1.
Crutchfield, not a big guy out there, left-handing, 5'11", 160. But again, his guile, his ability to get a fastball up there right around 80, but then change speeds and throw a changeup at about 72, 73, and a curveball about 74, 75, really keeps hitters off balance.
And he gets Dixon, and he gets out of the inning. Second strikeout of the game, strands runners at first and second. That's where they were to begin this inning. Pop out, fly out, strikeout, Crutchfield's out of it. To the bottom of the second we go. Waterloo looking for a run. We have no score in our 3A semi on IHSA.tv. Each of the last two half innings, we've had each of our teams, Kaneland and Waterloo, with chances. We'll start at the bottom of the second with Gabe Hopkins. Showed bunt and pulls it back. Hopkins be followed by Stepik and Wittenauer.
Hopkins hits .425 coming in. Pretty solid 5-hole hitter.
Hopkins headed to Southwestern Illinois College next year, follows it straight back. His grandfather played with the St. Louis Browns. Well, that's some lineage there.
Lucas Wetzler, Hopkins, and A.J. Crutchfield all heading to that junior college that you just mentioned in Belleville. So a nice start to the recruiting trail for those three young men and their next school that they're going to be student athletes at beginning in the fall of 2011.
Bobby Thorson on the mound for Kaneland. I don't know that Thorson has had his best stuff here in the first two innings. Doesn't look like he can find that breaking pitch quite yet.
No, but Thorson, he just goes out there with an awful lot of guts. He's a bulldog kind of pitcher who wants the baseball.
He's also walked Hopkins here to start the second. It's his second walk of the game for Thorson. That will bring up Nick Stepik, the 6-foot senior, a .425 batting average. The players on Waterloo can swing the bats. He has 28 runs batted in. Strong offensive team with a good balance of speed and power, and solid defensively. That's going to win you 32 out of 35 games. Pitching is 4 deep with strike throwers. That'll work. This will, in all likelihood, get out of play. Bounces up on the berm. No, it doesn't even bounce. A kid makes a catch out there, bringing his glove along for the show.
Great hands, sign him up.
Well, he stayed with that ball all the way. Now he throws it back in. Actually, you can keep that ball, son. Somebody will tap him on his shoulder later and say, could have kept that one.
So you mentioned it for Waterloo. They win their 2 regional games 3-2, 3-2. They almost didn't get out of there. And all of a sudden they're in the semifinals.
Bunt by Stepik. It's a good one. French fields. Gets the out over at first base, and that will move Hopkins to second.
You know, in the super sectional win 1-0 over Chatham Glenwood, the Waterloo pitchers walked 8 and hit 1. Now, I'm not real good at math like you are, but that's 9 free passes, and you win a 1-0 ball game. That's living the charm life. No doubt you dodged some bullets in that one, probably about 3 or 4 times.
And you defeat the defending Class 3A champions. At the plate now is Alex Wittenauer, the second baseman. Wittenauer, along with Brad Dillenberger, combined on a 2-hitter in that aforementioned super sectional game.
Yeah, Glenwood, we called that game last year. Boy, they put on a hitting clinic last year in the state tournament, didn't they?
They raked. Sophomore at the plate, a .391 batting average, and he has the go-ahead run sitting out at second base in the form of Gabe Hopkins. Count now 1-1.
We've seen some good young players both last weekend in Peoria and this weekend in Joliet. Some up-and-comers in the baseball annals.
Trying to throw behind the runner into center field, but Hopkins, who is diving back, will have to wait right there.
Well, Hiley feeling pretty aggressive behind the dish. We said he picked off a runner just last week. Came up throwing there. Don't know if it was a set play or just a proper read when he saw some daylight between the shortstop Davidson and the base runner. Nice backup by Calamari.
Hopkins takes the lead. Shortstop Davidson kind of jukes him back a little bit. Up the middle, and it has enough to get into center field. Here comes Camilleri with the throw. Hopkins to the plate. It's cut off. It's 1-0 Waterloo. RBI single for Alex Wittenauer.
So the sophomore comes through on what appears to be a fastball. Camilleri comes up throwing. Breaking ball it was. Diving to make the attempt was Davidson, couldn't have it. Charging hard, but a good break off the side of the bat by Hopkins, who was moved over to second base by Steppig's well-executed sacrifice bunt. They parlay some small ball into the first run of the afternoon.
Eli Snodgrass, a designated hitter, will come to the plate. Snodgrass today batting for A.J. Crutchfield. Snodgrass, the 5'11", 165-pound junior, 326 average for a team that doesn't really rely on one player. They do have Garrett Schlecht, a 9th-round pick, but they get different people contributing in different ways every game. Fouled out of play. Hazy skies here in Joliet as the wind has picked up a little bit, blowing just slightly in from left field. It shouldn't have too much of an impact in any fly ball hit that way. Windenauer, the short lead at first. Straight back into the screen.
We'll get a good picture when Bobby Thorson takes his sign and goes to the stretch or set position. You'll see a very low set down by the belt. What that does is cause you a little bit higher arm angle to get to deliver a pitch and gives a base runner just a little bit more time to run.
Stolen base attempt, successful for Wittenauer.
And I had the watch on Bobby Thorson right there. He got it there in about 1.62, and you want to get it there in under 1.5. So that low set